For a very long time, there was no such thing as informed consent. In fact, that only became a thing in birth in the 1990s. Before that, there was informed consent introduced in the 1970s. And the reason this happened was because there were a lot of psychological experiments that started to go really, really bad. One of them was the prison experiment. There was another one where they would pretend to be electrocuting somebody in another room, and it caused a lot of psychological trauma for the people that were in the study. So by that point, the mental health industry was like, okay, we have to do something about this. We have to do informed consent so that anybody who goes into these studies or does a medical procedure knows what they're getting into and can assess the risks and benefits. However, maternity care was overlooked for this because there was still the pervasive attitude that anything that gets the baby out healthy and gets a live mother can be done, and there was no informed consent. So when you understand the context of what you're really working with, and you understand that there was no informed consent until the 1990s, and there was no such thing as evidence-based, and that a lot of practices in maternity care were done just as routine until they could be proved to be harmful, or there was something better out there in the medical community that worked more efficiently, but they didn't count in the trauma that happened in this. You can then kind of see where we're running into trouble with true natural birth. And if you want to know more about that, then I highly recommend that you check out Reclaiming Childbirth as a Rite of Passage by Rachel Reed. This book goes deep into the historical context of birth, goes into the medical practices of the time, and helps you unravel the threads of our society so you can see, oh, that's where that practice came from. Oh, maybe I might want to question that a little further. There's also a really good section on just physiological birth itself, which is the true natural birth through Eve's story, which I just love this. When Jenny and I were diving deep into this a few years back in our classes, we were just absolutely fascinated because it also shows you what you really need to know about physiological birth versus what the medical system has taught you. And then you can kind of see why care providers are so hesitant to actually support true natural birth.